New in the last 5 minutes, who's in charge in Zimbabwe? Here are the leading players in the last 15 minutes. End of an era. World wonders what next as Mugabe faces coup. Two hyperinflations in less than 10 years. Did Mugabe and Mugabe from war hero to president in defense of the nation's founding values, gains of independence. We are targeting criminals around the president who benefits from the military coup in Zimbabwe. In the last half-hour, ZDF hailed for upholding rights. Annual inflation hits 2.24% in October. $15 million. Diamond plant expected to run this year. Youth leader of Zimbabwe's ruling party apologizes to military on state TV. European Union chicken dumping starves Africa Four Zimbabweans arrested in Namibia. In the last hour, thanks for taking out tyrant video app. Top stories November 15, 2017. Zimbabwe waits for next move after military sidelines leader in the day with Brent Goff. In Zimbabwe it's a coup. Robert Mugabe is the only leader Zimbabwe has ever had. What exactly is happening in Zimbabwe? A Prima video app. Top stories November 15 p. Zimbabweans in NZ. There's no panic. Military takeover. Grace Mugabe flees Zimbabwe for Namibia. Mugabe's toppled. Zimbabweans hope for an end to corruption. Urges Zimbabwe to address political crisis lawfully. Foreign ministry tells Israelis to avoid Zimbabwe amid apparent coup in the last 2 hours. Zimbabweans in South Africa hope for change at home as army seizes power. Could Zimbabwe's ex-VP Emmerson Mnangagwa become its next president? Zimbabwe. Robert Mugabe under house arrest. Mugabe, the West, and a coup by Pius Adesanmi. Mugabe's wife might have left Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe crisis. What next? Youth leader of Zimbabwe's ruling party apologizes to military on state TV. Zimbabwe equities are almost more Bitcoin than Bitcoin. Crikey worm. Signs of consensus on coalition marriage bill. CDE Chipanga apologizes to ZDF commander. What brought about the military coup in Zimbabwe? A half-hearted coup, extending Zimbabwe's reign of terror. North Korea. The Zimbabwe coup. Zimbabwe Jews told to stay in homes amid developing coup against Mugabe happening right now. A perfect storm. Even if Mugabe has gone, Zimbabweans won't be dancing in the streets. Mugabe, the West, and see coup by Pius Adesanmi. When a bloodless correction smells like a coup. Mugabe. US urges all Zimbabwean leaders to respect rule of law. Mugabe under house arrest as army takes over Harare in calm, controlled by the army. US urges all Zimbabwean leaders to show restraint. Zuma calls urgent SADC meeting to discuss Zimbabwe. Takeover seems like a coup. Who is Emmerson the Crocodile? Mnangagwa. Somber mood in Harare as shops shut. Early military coup in Zimbabwe. Analyst Magesa says Zimbabwe's Mugabe will be treated humanely. Zimbabwe's coup is nothing to celebrate. Balance of power. Curtain draws on Mugabe era with Zimbabwe in ruins. Zimbabwe President Mugabe confined to his home, Zuma says. Zimbabwe's military detains Mugabe, seizes power. Watch how Mugabe poisoned the breadbasket of Africa. Aussies urge to rethink Zimbabwe travel. Mugabe is out, but don't look away from Zimbabwe just yet. Analysis. Zimbabwe coup could spike Bitcoin price even higher on domestic exchanges. Robert Mugabe, fine, as tanks on streets of Harare. What Zimbabwe's coup means for markets. Key dates in Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe's 37-year rule. Zimbabweans haven't been this happy since 1980 independence. Zimbabwean MP. Zimbabwe general visited Beijing just days before executing coup in the last 4 hours. Coup or not, there's much at stake in Zimbabwe. Morning Mail. Mugabe in detention after Zimbabwe coup. Zimbabwe increases military presence on border with Mozambique. Zimbabwe power brokers. Key figures in battle to succeed Mugabe. Mugabe between the wife and the loyal Lieutenant Grace Mugabe, shrewd if ill-tempered, became a target of Zimbabwe's anger. Army in charge as Mugabe confined former colonial power. Britain urges peaceful change in Zimbabwe.